Today we're going to talk about the sexiest walk that ever you can make on this planet Earth. So, since I was a child, I'd been watching these fashion TVs and all of that, and I've been watching how ramp models, yeah, they walk on ramps, and used to feel it very funny. Okay, as a child, I used to feel very funny, and as an adult, also, I used to think like it is funny, but why would everyone treat these ramp walks as sexy? Like, why would adults feel that walking like this is sexy? To me, as a child, it was funny. To me, as an adult, it still felt funny, but of course, I was not very vocal about it because I thought everyone would think that I am being Benji, or I am being I don't know, some Jagat Mata or something. I don't know what, but but I would never understand like up if you've ever seen, like I don't get it. Human beings do a lot of things that are not functional. There are like there's no utility to it, right? Still do it. Okay, I find it truly funny. And I mean, that's art, of course. There is no utilization. That's not functional. You just do it. Okay, you just do it for the sake of doing it. Bhad mein gaya, there is a consumer or not. Bhad mein gaya, there is a market or not. You don't care about anything. You just do it for the sake of doing, and that's art. And I like art, and I'm a fan of art, and I'm a feminine energy, and I feel a connect to art of all kinds. You know, and I totally respect art. Wow. Yeah, I also respect the art of flying, like how eagle flies. It's so different and so beautiful. If you've ever seen, and I have to bring my I don't know, it's just so important. I mean, it's just so difficult to take my eyes off, sometimes of these creatures out there. Yeah. I feel like I had a face like that. And I don't have to look at any stupid human beings. I just can always look at these beautiful birds and the creatures of the sky. Yeah, so yeah, I am a lover of art, but this kind of art I never got it because it felt so artificial. All these women very artificially walking the ramp walk, especially in heels, and I would just never get that idea. Why wear heels? I would always love their clothes, as a child. I would love their clothes. I found it very funny, and I used to love, like, wow, how funny they were, what funny they're wearing, and everything. And it was just so great, you know. But I would just never get the whole idea, like how they are programmed to walk. I think it was very unfunctional. I think it would have been more proper and more funny and more accurate the art if they would have, just walked very lazily on those ramps. Wow, what was that? Don't know. Yeah, it would have been such an art if they just walk very lazily, on that ramp. Like they drag their feet on those concrete floors, and it would just make a whole lot of sense, you know. Yeah, it would have just been perfect. But it was just a different, stupidity that, I it was a different kind of a stupidity that I would, infer from it. Their head held high, and they're walking in like big heels, you know and people in the front row, and everybody, they're waiting for a dress malfunction to happen, a wardrobe malfunction to happen. People in the first row, media, everyone's waiting like that, so they could have a controversy and stuff like that. And I would just like, what the f is happening here? So yeah. And also, I didn't like how everyone had the same kind of bodies, those same thin bodies. And I would just like never get the whole idea, like why everyone has same type of thin bodies. As a child, I would never get that whole idea. And as an adult, thank God. Thank God the child in me didn't go away. And I still thought like how I thought like a child. The child in me never went away, thank God. Because, yeah, it's only the child who can retain it's only a child who can retain the intelligence in us. The day we lose the child in us, we lose the intelligence of the universe. I truly feel that. All right. So, yeah, and I would never get the whole idea. Now I feel I have discovered the most sexiest ramp walk ever. you know, and you can call it my spiritual awakening. So, to me, what is the sexiest kind of ramp walk that you can ever do is when you're not on concrete floor, when you are connected to the Mother Earth, you know, and you have your, you're walking the earth, all right. Let's say you're walking through a forest, just try and walk barefoot, and we right now we are in the Indian monsoon, and so all the creatures have come up, all the creatures of the earth have come up, and they walk with me when I walk. Okay, there are leeches, there are big, damn, long earthworms that I see, and then there are all sorts of beautiful creatures, of the earth that have come up, and it's just so pretty to look at them, So, yeah, so as soon as I place my, feet on mother's body. Yeah, as soon as I place my feet on her, it's I can just feel her breathing. I can feel her, yeah, and I can listen to her, and I can very psychically connect to her. And yeah, and it just never makes me, I don't want to keep my head up, for some reason. I just want to be down listening to her, and I just want to be so attentive to her. I just want to be so attentive to her creatures, you know and I walk barefoot, and I make sure that I walk as best as I can without hurting any earthworm or any creature of the earth, and it's she's so wet and she's so beautiful, you know right now in the monsoon. Yeah, and it's so beautiful to place a feet on her right now, and I walk through, and I feel through, and I feel through the trees as well, and it's just so beautiful to connect with her, you know. And on the other hand, yes, there are people who would jog in this forest, and I would just never get the whole idea. They would jog like in complete ignorance of this is not the place to jog. Forests are not the places to jog. You cannot come there for morning walks and jog. Jogging is when you are there on a concrete floor. When you are on her, when you've placed your feet on your, mother, then it has to be, very graceful. It has to be very light. But I see people stamping on these creatures. I see people walking and, stamping and jogging, completely ignorant of who she is, completely ignorant of, what is she doing. Yeah, she makes me more patient with my walking. I feel like how stupid, for some time I just feel how stupid it is to walk in those shoes. How stupid that I have slippers. It's so stupid that I have shoes. It's so stupid that it just makes me question, like, why humanity you know, did humanity literally, or did it literally civilized? I mean, we brought in shoes, we brought in slippers, we brought in the most advanced technologies so that our feet do not go through any kind of shocks when it runs, when it walks, when it just goes through. I totally feel that, I think did we I think it's just so stupid that we made concrete floors on her, and then we also wore some stupid rubber, you know, slippers, and we just lost all contact with her. Nowadays we are wearing plastic slippers, all these crocs and everything that have come out. Um, it's sad. It's sad. It's sad that we are blinded completely. You know, I mean, it just makes me question, does civilization really mean that we are ascending, or are we devolving? Maybe connecting to Mother Earth makes me go into ascension. Connecting to Mother Earth makes me go into evolution. Whereas wearing slippers, putting concrete floors on her is making me away from her, is taking me away from her, is taking me away from ascension, is taking me away from evolution. And I connected with her, and I've connected with her. Yeah, and she taught me a lot. She taught me how to mindfully walk, how to be, aware, and recognize the life around me. She taught me that. No one else could teach me that. My slippers couldn't teach me that. This civilized society, no school had taught me that. Only she could taught me that. I mean, only she could teach me that. So yeah, I had these questions, you know, and also I have these answers for you. When I was in school, I used to think that, of course, I used to find school very meaningless. I used to find that how meaningless a thing can be. I used to think to myself how meaningless a thing can be. I used to find school so stupid, and yeah, but since everyone was so serious about it and everyone saw it as some big thing, I thought maybe I am stupid to think like that. But from the depths of my heart, I found it very stupid. As a student, and even when I was a teacher, I worked as a teacher for 5 years, and I always had that guilty feeling like I am working for the devil, whereas I should be working for the God. Those 5 years when I worked in school, I totally feel I was, strengthening the matrix. I was strengthening the matrix, and pushing it back into society again. Whereas I should be emptying the society of it. I should be working for God and not for the devil. But soon enough, when I got an opportunity to leave the bond of the devil, when God placed his, hand, and he gave me his hand and he wanted me to take it, I did take it. I said I cannot work for the devil, because when you work for the devil, there is this one restless, feeling inside of you that, oh, that's just so sad. And it's just so, that constant anxiety that you feel when you work for the devil. It feels like of nobody wants to work for the devil, but our own fears, our own attachments, our own shadows make us work for him, right? And that anxiety that I felt for those 5 damn years, that anxiety, the same anxiety I felt for those 12 years I was in school. I just loved my play school. That's it. That's it. That's the most I loved about school. And when they started teaching me ABCD, since then, as long as I can remember, I hated when they taught me numbers. I just hated it. I was like, what the F is happening here? And I hated when I had to, you know put in, those cold food bites in my mouth. you know I used to hate that. And that too in a limited time. I thought like I was in some jail. I thought I was somewhere in prison. And I am not here, bragging or, talking ill about Indian schools. No, I am here talking ill about the school's curriculum. The curriculum that was left by the Britishers, you know, that was left by these colonizers who never cared about the citizens, who only cared about their country, their profit, you know. But, you cannot really, have profit, you know, by compromising or by taking somebody else's, you know. Of course, very British idea, definitely. Wow, such a beautiful moon. Hello. So this is my neighbor's daughter and I love her. She's so cute. And the moon's really beautiful. The moon's really pretty. She just showed me that. Yeah. I don't know if I can show you. Oh, it's a full moon tomorrow. The Lion's Gate, the 8-8 portal. I don't know if you can feel the intensity of Lion's Gate. Okay. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, I'm not talking ill about schools. I'm talking ill about the curriculum that was left by the Britishers, and till date it hasn't changed ever, you know. And we are going through it, the same, thinking that, we are still evolving, we are still developing, you know. How they want to keep us in the illusion that we are still evolving, we are still developing, it will happen, it will happen, it will happen, but it will never happen because it is an illusion. Because the truth is that we are already beautiful, we are already perfect. We don't need those concrete floors, we don't need those rubber slippers, we don't need those plastic stupid slippers, you know. We are always just meant to walk barefoot on our mother, on our mother earth, on our land, connect with her, connect with the creatures, understand the connectedness of life. I must be sounding too philosophical, I don't know, but I'm not speaking from my mind, I'm speaking from what I've experienced, connecting with the forest for some time. She called me, the wild called me, the wilderness calls me. I've always, for some reason, always, like witch is synonym to forest, is synonym to feminine, is synonym to wild. All these four words are like one damn equal word. They're like synonyms to me. They're like similar words to me. Witch, forest, wild, feminine, they all mean the same to me. They're just one and the same. So, yeah, felt called towards her. And it just made me think how stupid, we are, and how arrogant we are, thinking that we have civilized, thinking that we have evolved, or we are still evolving. These roads need to be completely perfect. There should be no, roadblocks, road breakers. There should be no, what do we call that, digs, in the roads should be perfect, roads should be smooth, and we are evolving. It just makes me question the whole entire thing, because Mother Earth, she wants to return. She's not taking it anymore. She's not taking it anymore. She wants to return. She wants to break in those, our ideas of evolution, our ideas of civilization. She wants to take her back. She wants to take all of us back to her, you know, either in the form of an ending or either in the form of a beginning. I may sound very poetic right now, and of course it's a full moon's influence on me, but I've been trying to do this for quite a time. I've been trying to do this video for quite a time, literally. And I don't even know if I'm gonna post what I do right now or not. Can I have some? Can I just have some water? All the injustice that, you know, she talked about the injustices in the world. She showed me a lot of injustice that are going on in the world, and it's time to bring. It's trying to, bring the justice to the world. It's time to. This pair of word, I don't know if they're a couple or something, they would always fly over, you know, and would go in that direction. I don't know where their home is, sometimes I wonder where their home is. I just so much want to, go after them and find where their home is, really. I don't know where they're going, where they always go at this time. They're always together and everything. So, yeah, she showed me a lot of injustice that is happening into the world, that has happened into the world, you know, and she isn't tolerating it anymore. She don't want to tolerate it anymore. It's an advice to all of you out there that please put your energy into things which are fair. When I say energy, I means your, it could be your money, it could be your attention, it could be, you know attention is the currency. Attention is the biggest currency of energy, okay? So it could be in the form of as surface level as money, it could be in the form of as depth, as deep as attention. So make sure you put your energy into things. So make sure you put your energy into things, where it is only fair and just to put your energy into. It's so important. Reduce the use of plastic. Reduce it. You know, I don't know what we think. I don't know how people think karma works, but you know how, uh, you know, we have used plastic so blindly, and you know and of course, Sanatan Dharma has always said that, Sanatan Dharma always had the intelligence of the heart and has always said that, you know you do wrong, you get wrong, you do bad, you get bad, you do good, you get good, but we have so blindly, used plastics, without caring about the life around us. We have done that. And now, and now the USA, the America had to do the research and talk about how microplastics, the plastic bags or whatever plastic, they release microplastics in the air, in the water. They've gotten into our brains. They have, um, gone into, they've taken away the clarity of our mind. They have, they have, you know they have done a lot of destruction to our own minds, our mind's clarity, our brain's clarity, right? Please stop using plastics, right? Sanatan Dharma has always said, you do bad, you get bad. But we had to wait till the science civilized and evolved to a point, you know, where it could do a research about how microplastics are entering our bodies, how microplastics are entering the bodies of earthworms, how they're entering the bodies of fishes and ocean animals, and furthermore they are reaching us. A cow is eating them, a fish is eating them. We are getting the milk from the cow, we having all those microplastics in us again. We are eating fish, we are having all those microplastics again. It's entering, it's in the air, it's in the water. So it has been always been so stupid, that we were always correct, we were always perfect, we always knew the intelligence, the intuitive intelligence of the heart. Or let me just say it, common sense. We, our hearts always know that, every human being's heart know, we do bad, we get bad, we do good, we get good, right? You do bad, you get bad. You do good, you get good. Sanatan Dharma has always said that, right? But we had to wait till USA did the research. It has to evolve and civilize to a point where it did the research, and now it's opening our eyes. But yeah, we have to change our ways of living. We cannot live the way we've been living. We cannot live the way we are living. Mother Earth told me, she psychically talked to me. She told me that. She told me. She told me that all the injustice that is there in the world, I will swipe that away. She will swipe that away. We cannot go on living, like way we have lived. Our ways of walking has to change, our ways of wearing has to change. I always used to go to brands, to buy clothes for myself, because my skin is sensitive, and I always need a good fabric. So I've tried street shopping, like, how girls are, how my girlfriends have always been, around street shopping and everything, and I've tried, but it didn't work for me, because I'm just so sensitive to the fabric wrapped around my body, and I cannot have something else around my body, and I can just always feel it, especially during monsoons. And of course it's very humid, and yeah, I can just lot more feel what fabrics not to wear around monsoons. Like, your body is a lot more receptive during monsoons, during Mahadev ka Sawan. I would want to call it Mahadev ka Sawan than monsoon. So yeah, um, yeah, stop. Our ways of, wearing has to change, our ways of walking has to change, you know our ways. We cannot just live in that. Even unconsciousness is karma. Many of the people right now, they're unconscious, they're sleeping, they're just going on with the world. I get that, but till how much can we get that, right? Your sleeping has to stop, your waking has to start someday. Even unconsciousness is karma. You may be ignorant and innocent to the fact, to what is happening in the world right now, you may be stuck in your own problems, you may be stuck in your own karmic situations, but till when? Your unconsciousness will also be count as karma. you know she told me ways. Okay, so I was telling you the story about how I always used to go to brands, to buy for a good fabric quality, but over the time it has changed. Over the time, in the name of good technology, they are mixing up polyester with clothes, with cotton. They are making 100% polyester clothes and everything, and it's just so bad. We are inhaling that through our skin, you know and these plastics and petroleum products are so bad, for mother earth. They're also bad for us. We cannot escape it in that sense. We cannot escape the karma. If we are wearing plastics, if if we are polluting mother earth using plastic, and we are wearing it, we are also polluting ourselves, we are polluting the mother earth. It's just one and the same. Sanatan Dharma has always talked about the theory of karma, how when you do it to other, you're also doing it to oneself. The theory of karma is very well rooted in the wisdom that we all are one. When you do something bad to other, you're actually doing it to yourself and you don't realize it. It's so mysterious a concept. On seeing with your two eyes, you can never know that. And that's how Maya works, that's how Matrix works. On the surface level, it will just never appear like that, but if you go to the depth, you are very invariably hurting yourself when you hurt another. It's a very mysterious and a very beautiful wisdom, and you can always perceive it only with your third eye. It's so difficult to see it with those two eyes. We are polluting our mother earth, we are polluting ourselves. All these brands, they are they are selling polyesters in the name of technology, like it won't wrinkle, it won't do this, it won't do that. I think it's time that we should very well, support the small, sustainable businesses that are there. They are doing the ethical work. They are earning the money using, at least doing the ethical work. And of course, there are all kinds of illusory, brands in the name of sustainability. Okay, they are, please make sure that you have your eyes wide open. In the name of sustainability also, they are selling you all sorts of stupidities. Okay, so make sure that your eyes are wide open. It's always so much better to wear cotton, and it's always so much better to wear organic cotton, and it's just always so much better to wear an undyed one or a natural dyed one. Rest, whatever they are selling in the name of sustainability, is a question mark for me. So yeah, support ethical businesses, support and support businesses of your countries, I feel. um, Especially, it's time for those countries to rise. It's time for those lands to rise, which have been suppressed and made to feel inferior, and have been you know did there's a lot of unfair things that have happened to those lands, like the lands who were subjugated by the colonizers. So it's time for those kind of lands to rise, be it Africa, be it India. And I do see these two countries rising for sure. I do see that. So India is on a rise for sure. It's all those, slowly and gradually it will. So yeah, it's time for all those lands, which have been suppressed, to rise. It's time for them to rise. It's time to listen to Mother Earth. It's time to go by her ways. we've been we've put her to the point of, threshold. We've pushed her to a point where now she is awakened, and she's awakening. And now it's no more she following you, it's you following her. And that's how we can all evolve, you know that's how we can all evolve together in this. So you cannot escape, you cannot be those, selfish and closed and, ignorant and unconscious human beings anymore. We cannot be that. Our ways of consumption has to change. you know we our ways of consumption has to change. We have to be more conscious of our consumption. When it comes to things, we have to be, in congruence, with the consumption of, how much, we cannot just consume with our egos. It has to be in congruence, with the universe. you know Universe has already manifested that dress for you. Universe has already manifested that food for you. हमारे हमारे इंडिया में, हमारे भारत में, हमारे सनातन धर्म में एक बात बोलते हैं, दाने दाने पर लिखा है खाने वाले का नाम. That means that, every morsel of food, that is there, the name is already written. The name of the person who has to eat that morsel of food is already destined. That's what it really means. So yeah, it's we even animals eat. They do not kill animals for entertainment. They do not use animals for sports and adventure. you know they they just use them, when, they even kill, an other animal just to feed them. And at many times, if you've seen, I just hated Discovery for showing always animals violence and everything. But sometimes even Discovery would show very shocking moments, in animals life, when they would, when they had meat in front of them. Then, it was so easy to hunt, you know it was so easy to hunt a deer's child, or, any small little creature out there. It was so easy to hunt. But it just, it didn't, because it was too small to be eaten. It was too small to be taken life of. Even animals are in congruence with universe. They knew when to consume and when to, be compassionate, and when not to be compassionate. They are so much in congruence with the universe. But we humans, we have forgotten that. We have totally forgotten that. Our rivers have to be revived. Our forest needs to be protected. Our consumption has to be taken in check for. you know you cannot live the way you've been living. And that's what Mother Earth told me. Our ways have to change. Our ways have to change. And that's it. Thank you for watching the video.